How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Geordie Geek. Welcome back to the channel for another episode of This Is My. And this is going to be an interesting one. So this is with a chap who I've watched his channel for a number of years. He's very much into action figures like myself. So I'm really keen to get to know him a little bit more and find out some of his collecting habits. So tonight, my guest is Aaron from Empire Toys. How are you, Aaron?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Thank you very much for joining, Aaron. Like I say, I've watched your channel. I've watched Toy Division live show since I got into YouTube, really, which is a couple of years now. And you guys always seem to have an awful lot of fun and get up to some interesting shenanigans. So keen to get to know you a little bit more tonight and find out about some of your collecting habits.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, you're also from watching your videos a bit of a car boot sale diver. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I hit the boot fairs at the weekends. I buy and sell toys. That's how I sort of fund my collecting habit. I call it real world money and like toy money.
Yeah.
So I'm always at the boot fairs at the weekends, just trying to find those bargains to sell on to then add like cool stuff to my collection.
Yeah. See, I'm always dead jealous. So I'm up in the northeast, and we've got a few good boot sales, but I never seem to find the kind of the gems. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some of my friends seem to come back with stunning figures that I've had on my lists for a while. But we'll get into all that in a bit. Just before we hit the chat, I just want to briefly go over a few things that are coming up on my channel. So first of all, last night we did this is our top 3 DC Universe scenes. Myself and 3 of my YouTube pals picked some of our favorite scenes and some of our worst scenes. So please do go and check that out. That was good fun. Saturday just gone, we did my usual Saturday night live show where we looked at all the geeky news, what we've been buying, and we also did a little bit of a deep dive on Aliens because of the recent kind of shenanigans in the US of A. So that was an interesting chat. Sunday, we did this week's comics, where we reviewed all the comic news, and we'll be doing that again this week. Tonight, we've got Aaron on. Tomorrow night, we've got Shane from 1/6 Figure Focus, where we're going to be delving into his 1/6 scale collection. So looking forward to that one. Mentioning 1/6 scale toy news, myself and Ben have agreed to now share the burden of doing the live shows, so we'll be moving between our channels. So if you're into 1/6 scale action figures, check those shows out. And I've got 2 new videos out this week, one of a 1/6 scale Boba Fett and one of a 1/6 scale Captain Carter. So please do go check those vids out. Shout out to some of my colleagues on YouTube. We've got the This Week in Metropolis Boys on a Tuesday night, Nerd Herd Comic Book Review Club on a Wednesday, the Killer Comic Show on a Thursday, and we've also got the Grey Man doing his Cover Slingers show on a Saturday. Okay, right. Quickly jump to the chat, see who we've got in. We've got 17 people watching, so thank you very much, guys. Please do hit that like and subscribe button, and please make sure you check out Empire Toys 1138. We've got Terry. Nice to see you, Terry. Thank you for joining, my friend. And we've got Pad Bear. Always a pleasure. We've got John. Thank you very much for joining, John. And we've got Sean. Thank you very much for joining. We've got Adam, Ian and Triple J, and Aaron. Thank you very much for joining, my friend. And we've got Sai. Hi, guys. Looking forward to the show. Big respect, Aaron. And you'll still be doing your show tomorrow. You got a show tomorrow, Aaron, yeah?
Yes. So we got our Toy Division live stream, 8:30 tomorrow evening. Yes. Again, I actually only got in from work about half an hour ago. So as long as work plays nicely, I am definitely there.
Yeah, good. So, well, welcome to the channel, everybody. And please do hit that like and subscribe button for myself and for Aaron. Okay, so those of you that haven't perhaps seen this show before, this is my. Basically, what we do is we get to know people from the YouTube comic book toy collecting community. We'll get them to show off some of their collectibles, whilst also asking them some questions about themselves. So finding out a little bit about what makes them tick. So Aaron, will start off with a nice, easy one for you. Tell us a little bit about your backstory. And what I'm interested to know is, firstly, what got you into toy collecting? And then secondly, what made you make this leap onto this fun game of YouTube?
Right. Well, I was quite lucky. So I'm a product, what I always say, a product of the 90s. I was born in 1990. But I had...
that makes me feel very old.
Yeah,
I was born in the 70s, late 70s. But yeah.
But I had an older brother. So he was what I would call a product of the 80s. My cousin Andy, who does the live streams of us as well, he was sort of mid-80s child as well. So I had as long as I had my 90s sort of, you know, like the Power Rangers, the Street Sharks, the Pokemon, I had a lot of hand-me-downs from them.
Yeah.
So a lot of Transformers, Thundercats, He-Man. Sometimes I didn't know exactly what they were, but I had them. So with that in mind, my dad took my brother to watch Star Wars when it came out in the sort of in the 80s and all that. And then because they obviously remade Star Wars in the mid 90s, the special editions, he then got to take me to the cinema to watch them when they got re-released in the 90s. And because of the toys that came out, my brother being a lot older, he would, like everyone did back then in the 90s, was buy them up because obviously they made the mistake of selling their figures from the 80s. So when I was buying toys to open and play with them, he was buying them to keep in the box, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I sort of saw that from an early age, and he had like displays and he had these Star Wars figures, and every now and again he had the books, the collector books and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of from an early age grew up with that collecting mentality. Mainly through him and also through my cousin as well, because he had he was into a different kind of toys and stuff from there. So I had a good mix. And then it just kind of stuck with me into my sort of teen years, where I probably didn't collect much toys because interested in other things when you're at that age. I'd sell the toys, don't want to have any toys in the house. But luckily my mum was great and she kept a lot of the stuff because obviously she knew from my brother that it'll be worth money in the future. Very, very glad that happened. And then I started working at Tesco's after I left school during college, and it's when they brought the 30th anniversary Star Wars figures out.
Absolutely,
And obviously I had a little bit of money from working, and I was in Tesco's and I was seeing them on the shelf because Tesco's had a small little section, and I just started picking them up, and gradually I started just getting back into collecting through the 30th anniversary Star Wars figures. It's then just snowballed. 2000
wild.
And 2015. I think I decided to make my delve into actually trying to sell toys because I was like, I can't keep up paying for this stuff. And what I was noticing is that I was always going to the car boots because that's where we got toys from when I was a kid. And I made the connection of, hang on, I'm going to the toy fair, and I'm also going to the car boots, and they're a lot cheaper at the boot fairs. And then I just thought, do you know what? Yeah.
So then you kind of took it off and started doing it more regular, I guess.
Yes, it's almost like there was a point coming into lockdown, before lockdown happened, that I was deciding whether to actually quit my job and do it full time.
Wow. Yeah.
Because
that's the dream, isn't it? That's for people like me. That's the dream. A comic and a toy shop. Do you know what I mean?
But then the one thing that stopped me is that when I went to college, I did music. I played the drums when I was younger. I loved it. Played in bands and everything. And then when I did music at college, it absolutely killed my love for it, because it was like, this is how you do it to make money. This is how you do it to make a living and survive. And it just absolutely killed my love. I stopped playing drums. I stopped doing it all.
Really?
And I just didn't want that to happen with my toy collecting. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't want it to happen. I've always kept it as something fun to do with my mates. Every couple of weekends, big shows, we'll sell some toys, we'll go buy some toys, and just and keep it as something fun.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, I'm fairly new into the YouTube game. I've been doing it 2 years now, but I notice on your channel you do quite a lot of toy excursions with your pals. And I love that. You know, that really jumps out at me. Now you've mentioned two things there, Aaron, that I want to just briefly pick up on. So you mentioned, you know, you're an 80s kind of collector kid. I probably came in a bit earlier. So my kind of big influence, not that I remember much about the comics or the cartoons, but my big influence is things like He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers, which you mentioned. I never really got into Power Rangers and Street Sharks and things as much, but I know a number of my mates who are big collectors of those, particularly biker mates from Mars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's the kind of area that you're interested in. Now, this channel will like to tickle a little bit of controversy. So I'm going to ask you a hard question then, because I think it depends what your first introduction was. What's the best Star Wars film? So
Best Star
sometimes,
Wars film.
yeah, sometimes people who perhaps enter Star Wars from those Phantom Menace era have a particular affinity to those, whereas older farts like me are very much Empire and Return of the Jedi. And I know you did Star Wars Celebration. I'm sad
Yep.
we didn't bump into each other one more because I was
Yeah.
there as well.
Oh
It was
no, no
phenomenal.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Star Wars, what's your, and you cannot see any of the new films because most of them are crap. So what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Movie. So
Yeah.
when I was a kid, it was Jedi.
Mhm.
And then getting older, a little bit older, I appreciated like Empire Strikes Back a lot more.
Yeah.
And I have to say, as a film, Empire Strikes Back, but as something like more fun to watch and a bit more, I'd say Jedi. Do you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I know exactly. I think Empire's got the more the
Thick story, isn't it?
I hate to say it, but the adult story. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas Jedi's more action packed and fun. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on some of the more recent Disney Plus excursions? Recent season of Boba Fett and Mandalorian.
So I love the Mandalorian. I think the Mandalorian saves Star Wars. Personally, I think the Book of Boba Fett gets a lot of hate, which I don't understand because I actually enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy Obi-Wan Kenobi. I didn't think they needed to do it.
Right. Okay.
Personally, because I think his story is he has to sit on Tatooine and wait it out until Luke's ready.
Yeah.
And I think the whole adding to it, I didn't like the way they did it. If it was more of keeping Luke safe, I could understand it a bit more. But I just didn't like it. And to be honest, I'm probably going to be very controversial, but I also thought Andor, apart from the prison scenes,
don't go there.
Was boring. I actually thought it was boring.
I mean, you know what? I can say that because it's a very much a talky, drawn out kind of series, isn't it? But there are some stunning scenes in it.
The two things I liked about it, I love the prison bit. I love I love the bit of everyone escaping and just that bit of Andy Serkis when he just gets there and is like, oh, I can't swim.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
Heartbreaking.
It's just like, oh no. Yeah. But what I did like about Andor, and it's something that I've always wanted from Star Wars, it's to show the Empire actually being the Empire. Like, there's no reason. Like, okay, the kids film, like the kids cartoons, like Rebels and all that, they're a bit of a bumbling kind of, like. Especially like even in Star Wars, the main three films, like they can't shoot anything. That you know what I mean? So I kind of liked it being that kind of big like military power. I liked it that there was people in there that liked being in the Empire. They felt safe because obviously a lot of people forget that there's been like this big war that's happened in the galaxy for years. So people now feel safe that they live in it as much as it's like a false sense of security. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what I did like about it.
Yeah, I agree, and I love the way it kind of gave the rebellion. They weren't as white and snowy clean, as they might have been presented originally. Excited for Ahsoka, mind. Can't wait to see Ahsoka.
I'm really excited. I was in the I got the tickets to the celebration stage for the Ahsoka panel. It was amazing.
So we got excited because we thought we had tickets, but we had tickets for the standby thing where you go and watch the main stage on a screen.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
I was in there.
Yeah.
And seriously, when, the scenes are out now. The main trailers are out, but when Thorne came on stage, like came on the main screen, because obviously we saw an extended trailer. You'd have thought England scored a World Cup winning goal.
Yeah.
Like the crowd just went absolutely ballistic. It was great fun.
Yeah, well, I was sat with a friend of mine, James T. Keegan, who's a YouTuber, and he literally, I think he wet himself. I mean, he was that excited. Do you know what I mean? It was,
yeah.
And I mean, just speaking of celebration, and you mentioned the scene from Andor there, of them kind of breaking out. Did you see the huge crowd running through the?
I did. Got a nice little bit of footage of that. That was that was fun.
Very cool. Just going to quickly jump to the chat, Aaron, and then we're going to show your first item. So, GP Venom, nice to see you, Pete. I hope you are well, my friend. Viper, thank you very much for joining. Do appreciate that. We've got Mr. Planter Prophet. Always nice to see you, my friend. And we've got my pal Efren from San Diego. Nice to see you, Efren. I hope you are well. Aaron also does boot sale videos, which are fun. Yeah, I've seen a few of them, mate. They're very, very cool. Adam is just saying, great line, biker mates from Oz. Yeah, apparently the remake and the cartoon, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's going to be interesting. And a live action Gargoyles, which I think will be very, very cool. Adam is saying Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, lots of people here agreeing Empire is a masterpiece. Mandalorian is just a funny delight. Yeah, I wasn't as taken by the last season, mind, I have to say. It had some redeeming bits. But yeah. Pad Bear, always nice to see you, Pad Bear. 6 episodes of Obi-Wan was sitting on Tatooine watching Luke would probably have been better than the actual series. And now I defy anybody not to enjoy that last battle with Vader and Obi-Wan. I thought that was pretty good.
My two issues with that. Maybe it was just me, and I haven't rewatched it. Did anyone else think that scene was far too dark and you couldn't actually see what was going on?
Now, Aaron, you are a younger man than me. But that's I feel I'm getting like an old fart, because that's my argument. Whenever I go to see a Marvel movie, everything's bloody dark. Turn up the brightness. Do you know what I mean? I kind of,
yeah. And the other thing, did you feel that lightsaber fight now makes the one in A New Hope feel less?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
those let's be honest. Those original lightsaber battles in the original trilogy were pretty stiff, dare I say, by today's standards, you know. But you know, we didn't know back then what we could have, I suppose.
No.
Okay, mate. Show me your first item. Let's see what you've brought to show with tonight. I'm just going to make you big.
So I was a massive collector of like the standard toy lines, the Hasbros, the Mattels, and all that sort of stuff. But over the last sort of year, maybe 2 years now, I've really got into a toy company in America called Four Horsemen Studios.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they make a toy line called Mythic Legions, and they've just made a new toy line called Cosmic Legions, and that's what I've got beside me to show off. So I've got these amazing
they are stunning.
6, maybe just 7-inch. Sorry if my lighting's really bad.
No, it's fantastic.
I'm terrible with the names. I think this one's called Duraban, but he comes with the sort of the eagle on him. He's like a scout. Yeah. The only downsides of him that I find is that the cape, you can't pull the hood down.
Right.
And there's not a second head.
Right, got you.
So he has his hood down, but he's still kind of like that. It reminds me of that kind of old man Aragon sort of rangery kind of.
The cape wired there, Aaron.
The cape's kind of got a wire in the bottom of it to keep it up, but this is all cloth. Sorry, this is all cloth here. But yeah, he's just a stunning.
I love them. I've not picked any of them up myself yet, but they are a stunning line. What's the rough price point on them?
So you're looking anywhere between sort of £40 to £60 a figure. Yeah. So they're expensive, but Black Series is getting that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and there's more shops now in the UK are stocking them and doing the pre-orders for them now, which is good. It used to be that there wasn't many, and you had to go through and get them from America. Like, just to put into context, I paid nearly £70 for him, because it was about, $70. So it was about $45 for the figure, and the shipping was nearly sort of $20 to $30. Bear in mind, it did come FedEx, and once they messaged me saying it had been shipped, it returned up in about 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're expensive. But then a lot more UK places are bringing them in. I've got there. Don't worry, he's not broken. I just haven't. They're in. Some of them are in storage.
Yeah.
So like I pop their wings out, but you got the bat here.
I like that one.
Push his wing back in there. It does go in. It's just
Yeah. That head sculpt's stunning.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I really like that.
Turn him in there. They've got weapons, but again, the weapons are all up in, like I said, in storage.
Yeah.
But the what you have to do with these, especially with the wings and stuff for the figures, you need to get a hairdryer and just warm the plastic up, then pop them in, and then let them cool down so they expand again. which is why that one's like really well in, and this one's popped back out again. And then I've got like a vampire trooper here.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like the vampire ones. And there's different factions. There's humans. There's orcs. I've got another sort of human. I think this one's called like
nice.
is called something like Lancelot or something. They've
Yeah.
all got sort of those sort of
Yeah, yeah.
names. You can get like gladiatorial Spartans and all that sort of stuff. But they are.
I like the detail on that one. That looks
Oh,
very, very good. Yeah.
they are nice. Yeah, they are great. I've got a couple on pre-order. I've got a big sort of blue like dragon coming.
Right.
Which is I'm looking forward to that. And I reordered the second headless horseman.
Oh yeah.
So I got that coming. I think that's not due until like next year. That's the only downside with them when they put their pre-orders up. They'll put their pre-orders, and you'll pre-order them, and then if you look at the small print, coming autumn 2024, and you're like, oh. Like I think the Blue Dragon that me and my cousin Andy ordered together was supposed to arrive December last year.
Yeah.
And it's still like not turning up. And then they did a line. A lot of them are based on other IPs. Like we got Pamphor here. Well, based on the He-Man Pamphor. And they did one that was based on Battle Cat. And there's one that's like Trapjaw and all that. I do like him.
Yeah, I like that one.
And this one's cool as well. Again, it's in the it's packed away, but you can actually pop his head off because they're almost customizable, and it comes with an orc head. So if you don't want him to be a cat, you can take his tail off. You can stick an orc head on him, and he becomes a purple orc.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then one more in my Mythic Legions to show off, which is my absolute favorite. Again, the wings might pop out, but I got Iglaris.
Oh yes. Yeah, I like that a lot.
So the Americans in the chat, they're probably hearing the freedom coming out of the speakers in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. It comes.
I love the color work on that one.
Yeah, this is the second Iglaris. There was a first one that came with like a flag and everything, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes in the Gothtropolis, I think the line is, and there's loads of different types of birds.
That is very cool.
But yeah, he's just. Cool.
Yes, I like that. I like that one a lot. It's interesting because obviously I collect predominantly. I've got a lot of vintage toys, but I collect predominantly 1/6 scale figures now as well. And much like you say, you get the pre-order. Sometimes 2-3 years, you get the kind of the image. You put your deposit down, and then you hear nothing for years, and it's very frustrating, I have to say. But also shipping to the UK is a bit of a nightmare for some of these figures. Like you say, I use something called Stackery. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's a kind of a US service where basically you just get a load of your stuff shipped to them instead of to you. And then once every month or so, they'll box it all up to you and send it off, and it saves on postage and customs. It's quite a handy way of trying to get around it.
That is.
Yep. Just quickly jump into the chat. Viper here is saying that looks super cool. You can't go wrong with Mythic Legions. Yeah, I think you've tasted us into that mind. I might have to have a look at some of those.
Definitely.
They're expensive but high quality. I mean, the thing I'm thinking when you're talking about them there and showing us the different designs and stuff. If you look at a Marvel Legend figure these days, some of those figures are ridiculous prices. Yeah. And sometimes the quality of those figures is pretty ropey, Yeah. 100%. Whereas those ones look stunning, really.
And I've never seen a Mythic lose its value.
Yeah.
It will go up for pre-order at the sort of the 40 to 50 price range. Some of the bigger ones and more deluxe ones, 60, 70. Yeah. As soon as they go on pre-order, they sell out. And then after that, you're looking at double.
Yeah.
Unless they do what they call the All-Star range. And every like sort of few years, they'll do what they do, an All-Star lineup. And they'll give you a list of previous Mythics that you can vote on. And people vote on them and what they want back. And then they'll do an All-Star line.
Oh, right. That's a good idea. I like that as well.
Yeah. They're always a little bit different. They're never the same.
Yeah, never exactly the same.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Adam is just saying here, Aaron, have you seen the moose in the Mythic line?
See, I'm trying to just stay just with standard normal figures and a couple of like, because they do trolls. They do like trolls that are like 1/6 size.
Yeah.
and they do horses and everything for them. And the moose goes with like the Fae kind of elf clan. But yeah, it's cool, but I just don't really have the space for them.
This is the
I've got
thing.
my headless horseman coming with the horse, and that's about it.
Sai is just in here. You can see the Razor Crest box behind you.
There it is.
Yeah, looking very, very nice. Yeah, yeah. And you've kind of touched on something that interests us as well there, and about physically running out of space. You know, becomes the big battle, I think, for a lot of collectors.
Yeah,
I've had my eye. I've got what I class as my geek cave. You know, a spare room full of stuff. I've had my eye on the. I don't know if you've seen the Super 7 Cat's Lair from Thundercats. It's obscene price, 750 or something, but the size of it, I don't know where the hell I would be able to display it. So that's kind of pushed us to say, right, I'm not putting my money in that, because it'll literally just stay in a box. I've got nowhere to put it on display, you know.
A friend of mine has the Super 7 skull, Snake Mountain. I think he has the grey skull as well.
Right.
And even they are huge, and it's great. It's amazing to look at it, but it's like, unless you have a big area, it's like having a big TV in a small room.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Unless you have the space to have it displayed properly as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And Adam's just agreeing here, saying, yeah, collector's nightmares, space and money. Absolutely. And things aren't getting cheaper. We've got 25 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody. Please do make sure you check out Empire Toys 1138 over on YouTube and give them a like and to subscribe. Okay, Aaron. Now, I get jip for this question every time, right? And people moan at us and say, oh, I can't pick one. But I'm going to ask you two anyway. What's your favourite movie?
Oh, favourite movie?
Yeah.
It's difficult. I don't know if I actually say to people, I don't know if I have one. But because there is a list, but I couldn't tell. Like, it depends. Oh, might have to just go Star Wars, go Empire, just to be safe.
Empire?
Play it safe.
Play it. So, Aaron, you obviously collect a lot of toys. I know you're a Star Wars fan. Are you a comic book Marvel fan? Do you get into that a lot?
Not as much as I'd like to. I think I was never a good reader at school.
Yeah.
And so reading books and stuff was never my forte, if that was.
Yeah.
So I never really got into it. But the animated Spider-Man show from the 90s and the X-Men show, the Hulk, I watched all them as a kid, loved them. I had a few comics and stuff. I tend to buy now, if I ever do want to read a comic, I'll get the graphic novel.
Yeah.
So it's all there. I think the last Marvel comic I bought was probably Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Oh yeah,
which was a fun.
And that's obviously that's kind of hinted at a rumor that that's what we're going to get in Deadpool 3. That it's going to be Deadpool kills the Fox universe, and he goes off and kills all the Fox iterations of the Marvel characters from those god awful Fox movies.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I'm quite looking forward to that. I think that'll be pretty cool. Okay, mate, show us something else from your collection.
From my collection, well, I think the main thing will be what's sitting behind me. So I haven't got it out yet.
Yeah.
Let me go grab it.
Just while you're getting that, Adam, Triple G, I'm new to your channel. What hot toy figures do you have and are after? So, mate, I've got quite. I'm predominantly was predominantly a comic book collector.
I don't think people realise that how big this thing is.
It's huge. It's huge.
Like, it's absolutely ginormous. I can't actually.
So is that? Sorry, Adam, I'll come back to you in a second, mate. We'll just have a quick chat about this because this looks fun. So is this was this a kind of a crowdfunded one, or is it?
Yeah. So this is the HasLab Razor.
The HasLab one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't back it, because at the time I was saving up to go to America.
Yeah.
And I was putting a lot of my own money into going to America. So I couldn't really. It was like basically do this and not do something in the States, which I regretted, because as soon as this came out, it like shot up in price, and I think some of them at the start were going for nearly $1,000.
Yeah,
it was mental. But I held firm, and a collector that I knew was selling his collection, a vintage collection, and my mate Dan bought it, but he said there's a Razor Crest there. I was like, well, this is what I would give you.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, okay. So
Wow.
I got this for a very, very good deal. And it's annoying. I've had it for about 2 weeks now, and I just not had the time to sit down and just be a kid and open it up.
Yeah.
But like I said, like
it's huge.
It's
Absolutely
massive.
bloody huge, isn't it? I mean, I've not backed any of the HasLab stuff. I've got a friend who backed the Proton pack and got it,
Oh, yeah.
and I've had a look at that, and it's stunning. I massively regret not getting the Unicron. I think they did a Unicron a few years back, and it looks amazing. But I never managed to get that.
I think with the Unicron was people didn't really know what HasLab was.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably went, they'll never do it. And then all of a sudden it was like, there it was. And it was like, oh, okay, here's a sail barge. Yeah, okay, let's jump on this. This is something big. But yeah, it's just
that's a beast.
It is. Beast. And it comes with a stand. It's got like, I don't know, it's the artwork there, but it comes with a stand, so you look like it's flying. Let me just stick it down there for a second. Oh dear, just nearly.
I did fancy the Galactus that they did as well, but I never picked that one.
And the Sentinel.
Oh, the Sentinel as well, mate. Yeah.
So what it does come with as well, for the collectors out there, it comes with its own.
Oh, cool.
So these carded figures are only available in that Razor Crest. So they even say has 001 on them.
Yeah.
So that's basically the only way you can get those figures. And for some reason they threw a Jawa in as well.
Why not? Why not?
It comes with the egg that he goes off and takes.
Yeah. And is that a HasLab exclusive as well? Is that a...
Yeah, so that's got Has 02 on it.
Yeah,
and then inside, they never put it in it was only in a baggie. They never actually put it in a box, but it comes with a Mandalorian. But he has a cloth cape.
Right.
So he's got his Beskar armor, and he's got a cloth cape for it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's a stunning piece. I'm very jealous of that. My friend Efren, Passpoint Comics, go check him out on YouTube. He's got the Galactus with the all the add-ons, the Silver Surfer and all that kind of stuff, and it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He has it stood behind him when he's filming, and it's amazing. I just want to quickly jump back onto Adam. Adam asked, he's new to my channel, so thank you very much for watching, Adam. Predominantly, I started my channel off because I'm a comic book collector, but I also collect action figures from cartoons and things like that from when I was younger. So I've got a big collection of vintage figures and stuff that, I mean, I'm sure Aaron, you will know, but things like, Sectors, Mask, Visionaries, Supernaturals, all that kind of jazz, Yeah. Recently got into 1/6 scale action figures, and I've gone a bit mental with that. And I think I've got about maybe 80 or 90 of those now. Predominantly Marvel, Star Wars, and movie franchise figures. So yeah, all those kind of stuff. Let's have a look. See, yeah, loads of people saying that they love those figures, and that they're going for big money now. Yeah, these HasLab things don't drop, do they? Do you know what I mean? They don't drop in value; they only get better. Tara, I couldn't remember where I've seen about toys before, but it's just hit me. I've seen you on Ed's Retro Geek Out. Cool to see you here. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, okay, mate. Next question for you. And some people have this, some people don't, but do you have any claims to fame? Have you ever met anybody famous, or have you ever had a YouTube moment where someone recognizes you, like just there, or anything like that? Have you ever had any claims to fame?
A fun claim to fame. Back in Star Wars Celebration when it was in Germany.
But did you do Germany as well, did you?
Oh, I did the first London, Germany, the second London,
fantastic,
and then the one that's just gone. So in Germany, Kenny Baker, when he was still alive, in his wheelchair, ran over my foot.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Did you get him to sign your broken toes afterwards?
No, it was just one of those ones. He was coming through and they were getting him to move back, but he was behind me.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, someone turned around and almost pushed me aside. I didn't really know what was going on. So as I turned around, bang. I turned around and he went straight over my foot. It was like lucky it was only like didn't do any damage.
Yeah.
I was like, ah. And then someone was like, "Do you know who that was?" I was like, "No." He was like, "That's Kenny Baker." I was like, "He just fell over my foot." And he was like, "Yeah, well done."
Tremendous. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that one. That's one of the better stories I've heard. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. So another question for you, and then we'll get you to show off something else in your collection. And it doesn't have to be comic book related. It can be from movies or anything like that. Tell us a little bit about who your favorite hero is. It can be from a movie franchise, from a comic book series, from a toy line, a cartoon series, whatever you want. Whilst you're mulling that over, I just want to quickly say hello to my pal, Dr. Von Hoot. If anybody doesn't subscribe to the Good Doctors channel, please do check him out, and you'll be amazed. He's the only Mowl, which is a cross between a man and an owl. He's in full face. Anyway, check him out. You won't regret it. His content is superb. Okay, mate. Favorite hero?
Favorite hero? I think I'll have to go with the Green Power Ranger.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Classic bad guy redemption arc. Hey Brad, how you doing, man? The fact that he turns up, he was only supposed to turn up for a few episodes.
Yeah.
When you're like 3-4 years old and you've had the Power Rangers for like 20 odd episodes, and then all of a sudden this green one turns up and just absolutely kicks all 5 of their asses, disrespects the Red Ranger right in front of everyone, and just blown away. So I think he was probably, when I was a kid, was my favorite superhero.
So Aaron, how can I say this politely? I don't get Power Rangers at all. So that was probably, the Power Rangers were kind of, I'd stopped watching cartoons and stuff when they came in. So a lot of my YouTube pals absolutely love Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I've never really gotten into it, but I tried watching that the Netflix remake that they did, the one-off show, and it was interesting. So what is the attraction? I like the movie, but explain to us as an older man, what is it about Power Rangers that floats your boat?
Big robots, big monsters.
Fair enough, yeah.
Right. No, I was always as a kid, I loved dinosaurs, as most kids do. And Jurassic Park was out, so I loved that. And then there was this TV show which had dinosaur robots that came together. And like I said to you, because my brother had a lot of Transformers G1 videotapes lying around the house. So I watched that as a kid. So I've always been robots, and there was something about it. I just loved it. And I think I was there at the right time as a kid.
Yeah. I kind of, do you know what, I really, when you look back on things, it's an era that I really regret that I missed out on, because some of my mates on YouTube speak with such passion about it, and I'm sad that I didn't have that experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you had different experiences.
Yeah. And I say I don't necessarily watch it, but it's my ringtone on my phone. The Go-Go Power Rangers. I don't know why. It's just that tune's amazing. So yeah, great shout. I did enjoy the movie, I have to say. I thought the movie was pretty good. Like to see more from that universe, I think. Just a couple of people in the comments here. Adam saying Wolverine, yeah, massive popular character, obviously. Dr. Von Hoot, Tommy was the best Ranger easily. I know Dr. Von Hoot is a huge Power Rangers fan and Transformers fan.
I've even got a lightning bolt.
Oh wow,
there as well.
Yeah, very cool. Sai saying Iron Man, Viper has to be Spider-Man. Viper Power Rangers was in the 90s and it was massive. Yeah, it was huge. And I think I'm right in saying, did I watch a documentary about that, saying Stan Lee tried to get it over here, wasn't he? He was very instrumental in trying to
so when he was over there, I think this is based on what that Netflix, The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah, that's what I watched. Yeah,
he was over there when they were doing the Spider-Man Toko
Yeah.
TV series, and he saw Super Sentai on TV, and he went, "We've got to get this. We got to get it over." And I don't think Stan Lee had the pulling power back then as that he does now.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
he did, but yeah. And then obviously Saban went over there and had the idea of, hang on, why don't we make this American and then just use their footage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. Yeah,
Which is
it's
probably
a massive franchise.
Which is probably what a lot of maybe when they're older, that's probably why they didn't get it, because all of a sudden they had these if you look at it now, you can see where they've spliced everything together.
Yeah.
But if you're a kid, you probably didn't notice it, and then it was only for probably 10 years ago that I realized that the Green Ranger, his shield, was this kind of really nice in Japan, and the Japanese stuff, it was a really nice shield that they had. But when the Americans did it, it was this kind of flimsy, almost tinfoily looking thing. And then when you watch it back, you're like, oh my god, yeah, you can see when they use the American suits and
see the difference.
But maybe that's why people didn't get it who were older, because
I think when it kind of started hitting the TV and things, I'd getting more into computer games rather than cartoons and toys. I'd transitioned into that kind of gaming mode, I think. But yeah, I think, in terms of looking back on it, in terms of, like you say, great action, great robots, monster of the week kind of stuff, bright, colourful costumes. There's no surprise really that it's been such a massive cultural hit. The show combined the appeal of bright colours, action figures, ready humanoid characters with the lure of giant fighting robots. Yeah, GoBots and Transformers and all. Yeah, bang on, Si, bang on. You mentioned there briefly the toys that made us. That's a superb Netflix series. I'm sad there's not more of those, because some of those episodes were very, very cool. So I'd like to see those continued. Okay, bud. Show us something else in your collection. What else have you got to hand?
Right. What else have I got to hand? Probably still on the Star Wars. So as you know, I buy and sell toys. So when I got the Razor Crest, I was like, oh, okay. I collect Black Series. Again, a lot of that's in the loft.
Yeah.
So I collect Black Series. Wasn't too interested in the vintage collection, because I prefer the Black Series only because it's just a little bit bigger, a bit more posable and stuff. But I was like, I've got a Razor Crest. I need to get some vintage collection figures now.
Yeah.
So I went out into my to where my stock was to see what I had in there, and luckily I had in there a couple of Mandalorian vintage collection figures. Yeah. So we got Axe Wolves there. Yeah. So obviously in season 3 has a bigger role, which is great. Yeah. Fun fact: the reason why he doesn't turn up in the second season finale was that they were going to kill him off.
Oh, right. I didn't realize that.
So they basically they were going to kill him off in one of the episodes. That's why he doesn't turn up in the final. But they decided when they were editing it not to kill him off, because they were like, oh, he's actually quite a cool character.
Yeah.
That's why he's just not there in the season 2 finale. And then Kioska Reeves.
Oh yeah.
The Sasha Banks Mandalorian.
Yeah. Love that figure.
Yeah, really cool. I've got these in the Black Series, but obviously I need them to go in my Razor Crest now. Yeah. And then I found out there as well, IG-11.
Yeah, very cool.
So I was really happy with that, because that's probably saved me a little bit of money getting some figures to go into the Razor Crest.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I do. I mean, I haven't got a lot of smaller scale Star Wars figures, but I've got quite a few of the 1/6 scales now, and they've just released the IG-11 with the Grogu in its central point. That's pretty cool. I have to say, I'm kind of hovering over picking that one up, because it does look amazing. Designed to sell toys, do you know what I mean? But it looks great. So yeah, I like that one. Okay, Aaron, tell us a little bit about or recommend to the people watching another YouTube channel. So someone that you work with, or a channel that you just particularly enjoy, and we'll stick it in the description. So any channel that you particularly like and we can direct people to.
Okay, well, it was already got mentioned in the chat. So friend of mine, friend of the channel, someone who I've had the pleasure of being around his house, and when I had my flat, he was stayed with me when he was over in the UK's Ed's Retro Geek Out.
I think I watched. Did you do a tour
We
of
did a-
his? Yeah, I watched
Yeah,
that.
see.
Yeah.
So I got my own back on him for the amount of times he goes to other people's collections. So I did a whole tour of his collection, which was insane. He's got some crazy bits. He let us go through some of the tote boxes he has of spares, and we got to buy some stuff out of there. He took us, Mateus and Renzo, his friends out there. They took us to some cool shops in Belgium. We went to a wicked like flea market. Like the whole this flea market in Belgium, the whole town this weekend turns into a flea market.
Wow. Yeah.
So we were there for like 7 or 8 hours. Got there at like 5 in the morning and didn't leave till well into like the early afternoon. I was bright red from sunburn. It was, but it was a real fun experience. And then got to see Ed's collection and everything. And he came over here, and I took him to loads of the toy shops around the UK.
Yeah.
And then we ended up at the NEC Toy Fair and did a whole thing around there. I'm gutted because I started a new job, so I wasn't able to get the time off to go over to that flea market again this year, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So I was tempted to finish work Friday night and just drive through the night to Belgium.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to happen now. But Ed's coming over again. He's going to chill out with us in October. So
fantastic.
Looking forward to that. But yeah, so I would recommend Ed. But there's loads. Like
Narc,
Craig there, Narc, Josh Pence's doing his videos again. They're out in America. Pixel Dan. There's just
lots of good stuff. When we're finished, if you can send me a couple of those links, and I'll put them in the chat of the video. It's always good to direct people to new channels and to have a little look at different stuff that's out there.
They're all toy related.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that my pal Fuzzy Dunlop is here. Fuzzy is a superb supporter of my channel, so thank you for joining, Fuzzy. Big collector of turtle related figures and also some of the Star Wars stuff. So he's just saying their traditional Star Wars figures should be 3.75. Really, the price kills them. Yeah, I mean, nothing's cheap these days, unfortunately, Fuzzy. Which is a bit of a killer for collectors like us who just want everything. Because I don't know what you're like, Aaron, but my impulse control is horrific. If I see it, I need it. Do you know what I mean? And the prices just aren't good. Sai is saying, Triple G, could I ask in regards to your comic collection, which one is your most prized one and means the most to you? That's a really hard question. So I've got some big keys. So I've got an X-Men #1. I've got a Journey into Mystery 83. And most of your big Marvel hitters. Probably the one that means the most to us is my Journey into Mystery 83, I think, because Thor's my favourite character. So pick that one up a little while ago. Dr. Von Hoot, Toys R Us, is it banger? I don't think I've seen that one, mate. I'll have to check that one out as well. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. Okay, Aaron. So again, nice, easy question for you. Tell us a little bit about what's a perfect day in your world. What is a day that you can just chill and do whatever you want to do? What would that be?
Oh, perfect day. I reckon I'm an early riser, so we get up early. We hit a couple of boot fairs in the morning. Have fields and fields of plastic toys that only I buy from. we're talking yak faces, hot spots. You know.
What the hell is a yak face? I've not heard of that one. What's that?
Yak face is a Star Wars figure from the vintage line. It was what they called the last 17,
right?
And it only got released in sort of Europe and Canada, so it's a really crap figure. But because it was never released in America, it holds this really insane value. Because like people from America will just buy it straight up.
Yeah.
So it's just a hard to find Star Wars figure. But yeah, we do that, and then after, probably goes to watch some football, and then obviously Brentford win, and then in the evening go find some live music and have a load of beers.
Good. I like the load of beers bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the good things on your channel that I love watching is your boot fair kind of hunting, but also you do a lot of sale videos, which I love, where you're out selling at these conventions and stuff. Tell us a little bit about boot fairs, but because I've never had massive success How do you manage to siphon through the vast amounts of crap and find the gems that are hidden there?
I'm quite lucky because I have a lot of boot sales around me that are quite sizable.
Yeah.
And going there regularly, knowing people that are there, I know who to go to, who not to go to. I know where to sort of start, and I know what kind of stalls to look for. Now, if someone's there with their stall, it's got not like kind of 90-ish kind of stuff, let's have a look, because there could be little gems, and that's normally when you pick up little kind of hidden bits. Obviously, kids, you go around and you see a stall with a family and some kids. You obviously 9 times out of 10 they're going to have toys, but then you just got to be careful because the toys might not be what we're looking for. So another thing I look for, I look for people my age. So if I'm walking around the boot fair and I sort of see like sort of an older couple, which is obviously the mum and dad, and someone around my age, it's like, hang on, there could be something here. And again, it's just knowing people. Like I go there, a lot of people, some of the people at the boot fair, they hold stuff back for me because they're like, oh, do you want to check this out before I put it out? And I'm like, oh, I will do. Or they'll be like, say it's Sunday, they'll be like, oh, we went to a boot fair on Saturday, I picked this up. Do you want to go through it first before I put it out to sale? And I'll go through and I'll go, yeah, I'll take these bits. And they'll go, cool, wicked. I paid £10 for the bag. And I'll be like, all right, well, I'll give you a tenner here, so you've paid your bag, and then you can make your money on these, and I'll take these bits. And so that's it. And I think a lot of it as well, especially with car boot sales, it's just luck. And the more you do, the more you go to, you're bound to find something.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's maybe that perseverance as well, because I get, how can I say, not bored, but I spend a bit of time rummaging to start with, and then half an hour in, I'm like, oh, I literally just stand and have a glance. Do you know what I mean? I'm not in the boxes and things. I need to get into it more, I think.
I have one or depends on what I got planned for the day, but three, or if mainly I do 2 laps. The first lap, when I first get there bright and early, and it's just a power walk. It is bang, 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 right, there's something there. Okay, that's not worth it. That's worth it. And then once I've done that, I then go back to the start and I do a methodical walk. And then on the third time, it might be again another kind of methodical walk through it. But you
got a system, got a plan in place there. Just going to quickly jump to the chat because there's a lot of people commenting about boot sales. So just first of all, I want to say hello to Connie. Always a pleasure, Connie. Hope you are well. Viper. A boot sale full of vintage figures, and especially the weapons. The small weapons can be worth far more than the figures. I picked up a vintage Soundwave first release from Generation 1, and can of hell find I've got one of his rocket pods. I can't find the other one. I can't find his gun. And I've had a little look-see on eBay, but they're silly prices, and you think, it's frustrating.
I had it once at a boot fair because obviously there's other people buying toys. It's not just me walking around. And you get a little kind of like friendly rivalry with a few people, which is quite funny. And some people there, I'm probably rivals with them, but they don't quite realise. But in my head, I'm like, oh, I got to get in front of them. Do you know what I mean? They're probably looking at me like, what's this weird guy doing running past me? But one guy picked up a load of Star Wars figures. And he was like, oh, I got there. And he's like, oh, but you wish you got here a bit sooner. Look what I've got. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's really pretty cool. Moved the box around and I was like, okay, I'll take the gun, the lightsaber. Okay. I just had a whole handful of accessories for the figures he had. And I was like, how much do you want for that? And they were like, oh, a couple of quid. I was like, yeah, no worries. I was like, I've got far more money in my hand in the weapons than you have in your figures. And the look on his face was like, oh, and I was like, yep, that would do me.
I bet you were popular that day with them.
It's all friendly. There's a couple of other people that I know that sell toys there, and you normally it's quite funny. You sort of have this weird kind of like you're walking up to each other and you're like, oh, hi mate, how you doing? And then you're off because you're trying to find stuff, but you're also trying to be like, just talk to people because you're all there for the same thing.
I was in a charity shop a while ago and with my wife, and there there was a vintage Ram Man figure, and
Oh yeah.
I picked it up and looked at it, and my old brain, you know, I looked at it and I thought, this doesn't look like original. I don't remember Ram Man having, I can't remember, something on the back of him. I thought that doesn't look right. So I put it down to check my phone and have a look and see, you know, some old images. As I'm looking through my phone, somebody else's hand leapt in, grabbed it for 50 pence. I thought, you bastard. I could have had that, but I shouldn't have put it down. My own fault. But yeah. Fuzzy's just saying here, can't beat a good rummage around a boot fair. Nothing matches the joy of finding a gem. And that's a great point, Fuzzy. And I think I've mentioned this before. I've recently kind of made the decision that I don't buy off eBay anymore for my vintage figures. I'll only buy from car boots or from toy fairs and things like that, because I enjoy the hunt more than the buy, I think, sometimes.
100%.
Yeah, so that's what I've started doing. Adam is just saying it's the thrill of always having a chance of finding a gem. Yeah, absolutely, bud. Sai, Aaron, tell Triple J about your amazing Facebook Marketplace find. Ooh, this is intriguing. What's this then?
So I'm just realised my laptop wasn't plugged in. Cool, we could have had a bit of a nightmare then if that just dropped out.
Were you about to disappear?
I was wondering why a little thing popped up saying battery low. I was like, what? No, I realised I unplugged it because I moved it. Yes. So yeah, I had an absolute touch on Facebook Marketplace. I still don't know how it happened because it'd been listed on there for a week before I found it. So I found a hot toy on there.
Right.
Thor: Dark of the World.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a man who likes, you said you like Thor and you like the hot toys. How much would you expect to pay for a Thor hot toy with everything there?
Or inbox, all that. Yeah. So probably, I mean, you're looking.
It didn't have its shipper.
Oh yeah, shippers. I'm not interested in the. So for a Thor hot toy, you're probably looking in excess of 200 quid, 200 to 250 maybe.
Okay.
Wow. You're going to piss us off, aren't you? How much?
I paid £20.
Pardon my language. That's obscene. And it had been there a week, and nobody had picked it up.
Now they had it on there. They said the only thing on there that said missing hammer.
Right.
And I was looking at the picture, and I was like, I can never pronounce it, Molinia, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's there. I don't know what they're talking about, but there is a little bit on the plastic that's missing something. No, it said missing axe. I was like, it's Dark of the World. It doesn't come with the axe. That's the end game or Infinity War 4. Interesting. So I messaged them. Is this still available? They went, yes. I went, is it 20 quid? And they went, yes.
Have you missed a zero?
Yeah. I was like, okay. Can I come around now and buy it? And they were like, yes. Went round there. They gave it to me, and I was like, okay. And they're like, we're really sorry. It's missing a bit. I was like, okay. And they were like, we put it on there. And I was like, yeah, it says it's missing an axe. And they were like, yeah. And I'm looking at it going, it doesn't come with an axe. Do you know what? Even if it's missing an axe, even if it's missing something, for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Grab it. So I got it
Absolute
in.
steal.
And I was looking at the gap where it was missing. And I was like, that's not a gap where an axe should go. So it turned out the bit that was missing were the little magnets that clip on the back of his cape to keep his cape down.
Right.
Which was sitting at the very bottom of the box.
I mean, yeah, you're a bastard. You know what I mean? I mean, that's an obscene find. That 20 quid sat for a week. Wow. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. See, I never find bargains like that on hot toys. And on average, you're looking minimum 200 quid for a Thor figure.
100%. I think the cheapest I paid for one of my again, I should have got them out. They're in my loft. Like I said, I moved back in with my parents. Last year, was it last year or was it? No, it was the spring LFC Comic Con. One of the toy guys I know, Spiro, he owns a shop in Cardiff, toy shop there, and he done me a deal on the Shore Trooper for 160.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really good deal on a hot toy.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Just quickly jump back on the chat before we move on to your next question. Connie, I love a car boot sale and never know where to find them. There's a few. I know, Connie, you're in the northeast, same as me. There's a few big ones around us. Drop us a message and I'll let you know where some of the decent ones are. Fuzzy, Nothing worse than people who insist just because it's old, it's valuable. Not the case, unfortunately, but some people don't understand. Absolutely, mate. That's very true. We've got Pete's Toys and Things. Thank you very much for joining, my friend.
Hey,
Nice
Pete.
to see you. Adam, easily over 200. Yeah, absolutely, bud. Steal, absolute steal for 20 quid. That's an amazing. Now, Fuzzy likes to try and wind me up because it's Thor, average superhero. How dare you, Fuzzy? How dare you? And Viper, the figure looks amazing. If you still have it, Aaron, you should see Triple J's interesting. But I've got an Endgame Thor, mate, and I've got 3 Thors now. Actually,
Yeah.
I got Endgame Thor, and I don't even like that interpretation of him. I've got the sideshow one as well, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite villain, Aaron? Have you got a favorite villain? Again, doesn't have to be from comics or cartoons. Can be anybody.
Yeah. Definitely. I have to say, Thanos from the MCU. How can I put this in a way that everyone doesn't think I'm some absolute madman? When the bad guy is saying things and you're like, I can kind of see what he's going on about here. You know, you've got a problem. You know, you've got a bit of an issue here. The way he went about it was absolutely wrong, but it was like, and he was cold. He was badass. He was just the way he turns up. What's it in Infinity War?
Yeah,
just turns up and just, does he kill Cap with that one punch? And obviously the time zone rewinds him back to that. Who knows? But it was cold. He was bad, and
he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
And
I think, like you say, when you've got a villain that's not your mustache twirling bad guy, and you can actually think, do you know what? He's got a bit of a point. I think that's always a much more interesting villain.
I don't know.
And I think.
Sorry, don't come.
No, I was going to say, I think that for me, there's that scene. I'm a big Captain America fan as well.
Yeah.
And there's that scene in Endgame where Cap's kind of walking down towards Thanos, and Thanos is staring at him. I just love it. It's he's stunning.
But Thanos, he just gets there. He just puts his sword down. He puts his helmet on. He's got his legs up. He looks like he's about to crack a little beer open while he's waiting for the puck.
Just wait.
And it's but because I find a lot with, especially when I watch a lot of newer TV and newer films, they try and make the bad guy, like, regardless of what they're doing, they try and give him some sob story of like, whereas Thanos didn't have the sob story. He was just like, oh my god, the guy's like, he's got a point. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, he's stunning. He's stunning. Great pick. Adam's saying, great shout. Thanos, Mumra, proper bad guy, Mumra. Do you know what I mean? He's Again, that's not a figure I've got in my collection. Actually, I'm after a nice Mumra figure. I haven't got a lot of Thundercats, actually. I need to pick up some Thundercats. So yeah, great choice in Thanos. Okay, Aaron, have you got anything else to show? Anything else handy to show?
Yes. Talking about, I've wanted this figure for a while. I'm not a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. I love the cartoon. I had the cartoon when I was a kid. I had my brother's old NES game, but I never really collected the figures that much. I got a couple of them. I got the little one, like one of the football playing turtles.
Oh
just because I like football. Do you know what I mean? It was a cool crossover. The one thing I do love about turtles is the animal bad guys.
Yeah,
so that big,
Rocksteady.
And LL, Dr. LL, and Hothead, and all those sort of things. And I've wanted this figure, but I didn't really want to pay the price, only because it's expensive. So I was going to get it out of the bag here. But I managed to find it at the boot fair last weekend. So I managed to pick up Scale Tail.
Oh, wow. Now that's a design. I don't think I've seen that one before.
Exactly. Now, he's everything a bad guy. Look, he's got a real arm, he's got a snake arm, and he's got a gun on his tail.
Yeah. What more do you need? Fuzzy, if you're still in the chat, I know Fuzzy's a huge turtle toy collector. Is this the one you've got or familiar with, Fuzzy? I don't recognize this guy at all.
Yeah, these are coming from towards the end of the lines.
Yeah.
But they went mad. They went really hard on making these all sorts of different animal
mutants. Yeah.
Yeah, mutants, and luckily, like when I was in America last year at a flea market, I found in a rummage tin of just random bits his actual gun that goes in his hand.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
so in my spares, I've got his actual gun. So that's one of the reasons I wasn't too. I was like, yeah, definitely got to grab him. Now he wasn't car boot prices. He wasn't like 50p in the bottom of a
Yeah.
tub, but he was definitely a lot cheaper than online and at toy fairs.
I love that. I love all the colours. I
Yeah,
love the.
look at the
He
tail.
kind of reminds us of some of the Masters of the Universe, Snake Mountain
Yeah,
kind of line, King Hiss and all that lot.
King Hiss. You can in your triple threat snake battle
Yeah.
beasts. Yeah,
Yeah. Battle Beasts. God, I haven't seen them for ages.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I've been to see the new movie actually, and it's superb. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Think we'll get some good toys out of that. There's some real good characters in
yeah.
it.
I'm so gutted. I got an invite to go to the toy review of that or the
All
reveal.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a Tuesday afternoon and I was working. So
Oh,
yeah, so that.
stunning.
But I picked up. I got the guy had quite a few turtles. They weren't cheap, but they were definitely, like I said, cheaper than like toy fairs. So I got
Yeah,
this kind of rock, like one of the
very
band
cool. Yeah,
Mikeys here.
yeah,
Yeah, great toys. Like I said, I'm not a massive collector, but I do appreciate them. Do you know what I mean? I think they're
yeah.
great. I also got. I can't remember this guy's name. Is he from the? Is he from the
Oh, he's
movie?
from one of the movies, isn't he? I
Yeah, he's
can't
from the
remember his
second
name.
movie, isn't he? I thought he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when they
I can't
didn't put
remember his name.
Bebop and Rocksteady and they made their own, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I
then
like that.
another quite hard to find one is Hothead here.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
And that was all from the boot fairs. So really, really
Very
glad.
cool.
He had a few others. He had is it Merman and a couple of other turtles, but yeah, just I got these ones. So
Very cool. Dr. Von Hoot's jumping in here. Tukar and Razor.
yeah, that's
Razor, I
it.
think that. Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Again, some of those original turtle figures and the later designs, are just so striking.
Yeah.
I love them. Just quickly jump to the chat. Fuzzy saying Playmates released 450 figures in the heyday. Was a fraction of them over here, unfortunately. And he's saying he's never seen that one in person, only in pics. Yeah, some very, very cool figures.
I was really happy because when I was in the States last year, I was in a toy shop and I nearly paid about, I think it was worked out to be about £80 for him.
Wow.
But he was in the box, but it had been sliced open, so it had
Yeah,
all its accessories and everything. And but they wanted I think it was like $110 or
yeah,
something. But I think it worked out to be about 80 quid. So I was like, oh man, I didn't know what to do. It was kind of halfway through the holiday, so I was a bit like,
yeah.
oh, do I spend this now? And do you know what I
Big
mean? And
chunk.
at the end of the holiday, I was going to a big Comic Con there, and that the shop that we were had a booth there.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, I'll just bring it with me, and if I still have it, I'll bring it with me, and you can decide then. And I sort of went there and was like, oh, do you have that scale tail? And he went, oh no, I forgot to bring it. I was like, okay, no worries, it's not meant to be. And this is why it's not meant to be, because a year later I found one at the car boot sale. So
Yeah. You'll not have paid 80 quid at the car boot.
no.
No. Fuzzy's just saying that the Turtle military line is fantastic. Yeah, I like that line. I've seen that one. Oh, we've got Chris here, the comic vet. Thank you very much for joining, Chris. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Viper, they're saying the vintage Turtles had great colours. I think that's what really draws my eye to them, that they aren't. It's not even that they're just one colour palette. It's that there's, like the ones you showed there, there's so many different popping colours all over the figure, it just looks
I'm going to pick him
stunning.
up, just the detail. So like, he's got the belt. You got the blue bit. He's got you can't even get to him, but he's got a belt on him with like a little knife in the back there and a little pistol.
Yeah.
But that's coloured in black. Obviously, the gun there is orange.
Yeah.
All sorts of all the snakes there have like their mouths are coloured in.
Really, really stunning.
His eyes, every bit of that had like a paint app to it. So
yeah,
I just
very
realised
cool.
the gun on his tail is actually being operated by another little snake. I've only just noticed that.
Of course it is. Of course it
It is.
is. I love it. Very cool. Very. Well, you're showing off some real nice items tonight, Aaron. So I'm really appreciating that. Okay, bud. Next question for you. A bit of advice. So, what advice would you give any of the viewers, either about YouTube or about toy collecting or about whatever you want, life in general, whatever you fancy?
Oh God. Don't do drugs. No. YouTube. If you're going to do YouTube, you're going to make videos. Just make sure you enjoy it. It really does. I've gone through a bit of a. I went through not enjoying doing YouTube, and when I watched back a couple of the videos, it really showed in the video that I looked like I couldn't be bothered to do it.
Yeah.
So I sort of stepped back. I had about the start of the year, I didn't do as much, and I've come back now, and I'm enjoying it more because I felt like at the time I was going to shows and going to things because it was like, oh, I need to put a YouTube video out, so I'm going to drive 3 hours to this toy fair.
Yeah.
And I was on a bit of a burnout. So I did that. I took a step back a little bit from my live streams with the boys for a little while. And I sort of got my mojo back with it, and I'm enjoying it now. And I think that's the main thing. Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about everything. Just go and enjoy it yourself.
Yeah.
And it will come across 10 times more.
I think that's an amazing attitude to have, and that's kind of how I tackle YouTube. I work with probably, I would say, a handful of people who I really feel close to and enjoy working with, and it's fair to say all of us have had that kind of experience of shit, why is this video not taking off, or starting to get twitched a little bit about the lack of views or the lack of people watching and things like that. And my mentality has always been, if it's not fun, I'll stop doing it. And I think probably the bit that I get most pleasure from is stuff like this, and also my live shows where I'm interacting, because it becomes not a show or a video. It just becomes, actually, we just spend some time with friends talking about stuff that I cannot talk to with my wife or my mates at work. Do you know what I mean? They're not interested in turtles and shit like that. So it's my way of getting that kind of outlet for my geekiness. So I think that's great advice, mate. Just enjoy what you're doing. Try your best to forget the views, the likes, the subs, and all that stuff, and it'll come naturally, you know.
I think after Celebration, I think I did the video from Celebration, and I took the Monday off. I really wanted to get the video out, and I wanted to get it out. Because while people were still searching for Celebration, it was still hot on everyone's mind. And I spent my whole day off on the Monday after the event doing that. I put it out that Monday evening, and I think it was, for ages, it was one of my worst performing videos. And I was like, I've just spent my whole day off busting my ass to get this video out, and edit it and put music in and put little captions in and do everything for it and everything like that. And I was like, and it's just not doing it. And then you go into the analytics, and you sort of see, hang on, it's not actually me, it's YouTube. Like, your video's not doing very well. Your video hasn't gone out to as much people as your last one. And you're like, well, that's your job. That's not my. You know what I mean? Your job's to put it out to people. I put it on here, do the tags, do everything. People watch it on my subs, but the extra people out there, that's YouTube's job. But yeah, you stress yourself out because you'll just be like, my whole day off is gone doing this one video. And
I mean, I've given up trying to work it out, if I'm honest. So you can put the same video out. So, you know, literally literally put the same video out, and one day it'll get great views. The next day you get nothing. There's no rhyme or reason to it, you know. I think, you know, the bottom line, as you've said, is do what you do and enjoy what you do.
100%.
If you're not enjoying it, then take a step back and do something different, you know.
And that's what I did. And I had a couple of, probably a month and a bit off of not doing anything, and then you start getting that, I want to do a video. When's the next thing happening? Because I want to do a video. And then you got to go through that little bit of rigmarole of, you haven't put much out, so you got to sort of build your algorithm back up a little bit again. And now it's like, I'm a little bit, just because of I'm away next weekend, so I can't do a video, and I didn't actually do a video at the car boot this weekend because it was only supposed to be a flying visit because I was busy last weekend. It was only supposed to pop in and pop out, and I've walked away with a bag full of toys. So I'm now like, oh no, like I want to put a video out and I can't because it's like I'm doing things. So just
that's a good place to be in, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a good. I mean, I get most of my what I would class as my YouTube energy from my live shows with my but some of who are watching tonight with my kind of friends, really. That's what gives you a bit of joy, I think. Okay, Aaron, have you got anything else to show?
I got the stuff that I found that you might enjoy. This was stuff that I found 2 weeks ago at the boot sale, and this was like the first time that second time, sorry, but the first time it was only one vehicle, but I managed to find some mask.
Love it.
So, it's missing the front bit on that one, but a couple of tires, but they were and these were car boot cheap.
Yeah. Oh, nice, very nice.
And I think this is probably my favorite one. I only like it because it's like a kind of Chevy, isn't it?
I had all three of those back in the day.
Yeah.
Mask really was, I think, one of my favorite toy lines. But just stunning vehicles, absolutely stunning vehicles. And I'm really, spoilers. I don't want to give spoilers away. Have you seen the latest Transformers movie?
Yes.
So there's a nice little bit at the end of that, which leads into another toy line. And I'm hoping Mask is what comes next after that as well, because that would make sense in that Transformers universe, because we haven't had a Mask toy line, I don't think, since the originals. I don't think.
No. I don't think there has. I think it's all been, it just came out, and I think it's been kind of overshadowed by sort of other ones. Because wasn't Mask, isn't it Kenner?
It was, but then it's all come under the same. It was Kenner originally, but now it all comes under the same heading as
Hasbro.
Hasbro, yeah.
Maybe because it was never. Maybe because it wasn't Hasbro's.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're a bit more reluctant to do it. Yeah. Never know. Maybe
I tell you, I can't remember the name of the car. Is it Thunderhawk? I can't remember the red car you've got there. Matt Tracker's car.
Yeah,
that looks in pretty good nick. That one out of the three of them. That's
what it's missing its tires.
Yeah,
which is annoying. But the actual car itself is a little bit of cracking at the front there. There, but it's actually it is. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. The mechanisms aren't great.
Yeah, but these are old toys. Do you know what I mean? All the spring action and the mechanisms and stuff like that.
It's funny how there's things that go missing and the things that it's got, and it's got the belt bit there, which is a bit that snaps and everything.
The rubber on the wheels of all of the Mask vehicles is really easy to perish, so you see a lot of them without the rubber on. I picked up a Rhino rig a little while ago, and it's in really good nick, but it's missing the window and door section on one side. Stunning. I love them. They are very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, you twist it that way, don't you?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Love it.
In fact, behind us here, there's my favourite Mask. Sorry, I'll just make me. That's one of my favourite vehicles. Condor with Brad. I remember picking this one up when I was younger and just being blown away again by the stark colours, yellow jumpsuit and a green bike. Love those. Love Mask.
Yeah.
Very cool. Dr. Von Hoot is just saying there, Kenner, but Hasbro bought Kenner. That's right, mate. Yeah, you're right. And Fuzzy is saying, I've been looking for at Manta Force toys lately. Yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah, and loved as a kid, still relatively cheap to buy now. Yeah, they are very cool. I've kind of gone down a nostalgia line looking at things like, do you remember the old pink muscle toys? I think they're called Muscles. You ever see them? Muscle Men, yeah. I haven't got any of them, so I'm looking for some of those as well. Fuzzy, I love the Drag Racer as a kid. Yeah, superb stuff.
I like the I don't think it's got snake oil written on it, but it's the Arctic that opens up, and it's got a big massive rocket launcher in the
I do fancy. I mean, I've got, in terms of bigger play sets, I've got a Snake. No, I haven't got Snake Mountain yet. Sorry, I've got a Castle Grayskull and things, but I've always fancied a Boulder Hill. I think that's a one I could find space for. I think, because I do like that one.
It's cool.
Okay, bud. Tell me a little bit about your channel, what you've got coming up, and where people can find you.
Okay, well, the channel is called Empire Toys 1138. YouTube is predominantly on there, but I am on Instagram as well. And coming up is it's mainly car boot videos, but like I just said, I'm away this weekend, so there won't be one this weekend. Although I'm going to Paris.
Oh, nice.
So there is a big toy shop, a famous toy shop in Paris, but I'm only there for the weekend, so I don't know if I'll get a chance to get to it. But if I do, maybe if I talk to them, they might let me film that video and have that. But apart from that, it's just car boot sales until I think September is when Toy Fairs for me start back up again. So yeah.
Superb. And tell people about you. You've got a live show tomorrow night, haven't you? So tell people about that.
So back in the dark times of COVID, me and my mates started a little live stream up, and we're still going strong. I don't know how. Alcohol and sugary snacks is probably what's keeping it going, and probably us making obscene film-related takes that sends one of our friends into absolute orbit. So yeah, 8:30 on my sister channel, Toy Division. So tune in for that if you just want to see three. No, we might have four. I think we got a guest on. I don't know.
Yeah, good
but
stuff.
yeah, so we'll just show the toys that we found. I'll probably go into a few more depth of what I found at the car boot from the weekend. The other boys will show that up. I know they went to a toy fair on Sunday in Totten, so I know they went there, and they went to a toy shop called the Vintage Toy Monster. So they'll probably be showing off that and talking about that on it. So yeah, 8:30 tomorrow night.
Good stuff. Fuzzy's just saying there the Muscle Men figures had a real distinctive smell. Yeah, they absolutely did. But and Adam is saying highly recommend the show on Aaron's channel tomorrow. Lots of fun and great banter. Yeah, I've watched that one a number of times myself, and that's the kind of I mean, not just blowing smoke up your backside here, and that's the kind of show I particularly enjoy because you just come across as very relaxed, just enjoying the nerdy talk and the banter and the interaction. It's not stuck up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You watch some channels and it's very, it's just fun, which is what I want to see, really.
We're three nerds. We know we're talking about toys. We know there's sometimes real world problems in toys, but they are sort of first world problems at the end of the day, aren't they? Yeah. And we just enjoy it, and we don't take ourselves that seriously. So yeah, come hang out tomorrow night. Just come hang out, see if you like it, and hopefully you stick around. But yeah, just to wait. It is on my sister channel, Toy Division. So it's not on Empire Toys. It's on another channel called Toy Division. It started off on my channel, but because I think basically it's when I went away to America last year, the boys wanted to keep it going. Yeah. So we thought, do you know what? We'll set up a second channel where we just do the live streams on that. So it'll be on there, Toy Division.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And like I say, it's a superb show, so please do go and check. Fuzzy of the Dunlop has subbed years up, so that's good stuff. Really appreciate talking to you tonight, Aaron. If there's anybody else out there watching who fancies coming on and doing a show like this with us, This Is My, please do get in touch with us. I love talking to people who I don't necessarily spend time with on YouTube, so it's nice to talk to other collectors. Tomorrow night, I have another show. I've got 1/6 figure Focus coming on to talk about his 1/6 scale figures. That's at 8 o'clock. What I'm going to do, but is say, please do go and check out Toy Division's show and come and check mine out on the Rewind later on. So please go and check out Aaron and his guys live. Well, yeah, two devices. Watch both.
One on the phone, one on the TV.
Yeah,
whatever else you watch on the internet on another device.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Okay, chaps, that's your whack. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Really appreciated all of the interaction with the chat tonight. You guys have been fantastic, and Aaron, it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on, mate. Okay. It. No problem at all. With that, we'll call it a night. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye now.
See you later. Thank you. Bye.